Okay, picture this. You're at the most formal dinner party imaginable, but it's in ancient Rome. Togas, mosaics, the works. And then uh, someone at the table needs to pass gas.
Right. And our first instinct today is, pure horror, social death.
Exactly. But for the Romans, the attitude was, well, shockingly different.
It's a complete disconnect, and that's what we're going to deep dive into, because this one tiny, embarrassing bodily function is actually a perfect window into core Roman values.
It tells us so much about how they saw things like health, honesty, and social pretension.
Yeah, exactly. And a good place to start is just the language itself.
Right. If something is taboo, we tend to have all these euphemisms for it.
We do. We dance around it. But the Romans, they were just much more direct. They had a very simple, non-judgmental Latin verb for it, podere.
Podere.
Yep. It means exactly what you think it means. And the fact that you see it in classical texts used pretty casually, it just shows you that this wasn't some secret, shameful thing. It was just a normal part of life.
And it's fascinating because this wasn't just a sort of, man on the street attitude. This went all the way to the top.
All the way. We're talking about the Emperor Claudius. He actually weighed in on this.
The emperor himself is concerned about farting at dinner parties.
It sounds absurd, but it came from a place of, well, Roman pragmatism. It was a health concern.
A health concern.
Yeah. Claudius was apparently worried that guests at formal banquets were feeling so much social pressure, maybe from stricter Greek customs, that they were holding it in.
And he thought that was making them physically sick.
He was convinced of it, so he basically did the complete opposite of what you'd expect. He didn't tighten the rules on etiquette.
He loosened them.
He blew them wide open. He reportedly encouraged people to feel completely free to pass gas, even at the dinner table if they needed to. It was a statement.
A statement that your health and your comfort matter more than some stuffy social rule.
Precisely. And this leads right into that idea you sometimes hear that for the Romans, it was a sign of honesty.
Right, which sounds a little strange, like you had to do it to prove you weren't a liar.
Well, and we need to clarify that. It wasn't a performance, no. It wasn't like a required part of the meal.
Okay, so what was it then?
It was about what you weren't doing. The Romans had this deep-seated hatred for something they called affectatio.
Which is?
Unnecessary pretension. Putting on an act. Performing. They valued transparency and a kind of raw directness.
So trying to hide a perfectly natural bodily function.
It's a form of performance. You were being fake. The person who just, naturally let one go without apology or trying to hide it, that person was seen as genuine.
They were being authentic.
Authentic, sincere, unfiltered. That unfiltered behavior was the ideal. Trying to maintain this perfect artificial facade that was actually seen as the ruder, more offensive act.
So to wrap it all up, for you listening, in Rome, being your natural, unfiltered self was prioritized from the emperor. Being natural in your body was basically the same as being honest in your character.
It really was, and it leaves you with a pretty profound thought. If their culture valued that kind of radical openness as the definition of authenticity, what social rules do we follow today, just out of pretension? I mean, what are we constantly performing or hiding about our natural selves? And what's the real cost of that? What does that need for a perfect facade actually cost us in terms of just, genuine human connection? Something to think about.